thought you had decided to stay.
Well, the bounty hunter we ran into in Ord Mantell changed my mind.
Han, we need you.
In this video, we will look at 4 different stories that each tell the tale of a dissimilar bounty hunter that Han runs into on Ord Mantell. Marvel Comics, the Los Angeles Times Syndicate, Buena Vista Records, and West End Game all contribute stories to explain Han's line from The Empire Strikes Back. In Mortal Kombat from Star Wars number 37. In Star Wars number 28, Han Solo is tracked by Jabba the Hutt and his men to the planet Orleans. Han and Chewie are at one of their hideouts, a cave, which is overrun by stone mites. He and Chewbacca are able to escape both the creatures and Jabba's henchmen when the Millennium Falcon punches through the weakened walls of the cave. In orbit, they come across Jabba's ship, the Voidraker, and learn that it is infested with the creatures. Han agrees to rescue Jabba, and in return, Jabba cancels the debt that Han owes. Unfortunately, this would be short-lived because in Star Wars number 37, Jabba's men come across Crimson Jack's badly damaged Star Destroyer in the Drexel system. Jabba was a major investor in Jack's pirating operation, and he is furious at the loss. He learns from the ship's logs that Han Solo is responsible for the derelict craft and immediately reinstates the bounty. A short time later, Han is on a planet defending himself from a bounty hunter. The hunter tells Han Jabba restored the bounty on his head and he won't be the last after him. Han decides it is best to rejoin his friends in the rebellion. The bounty hunter in this Marvel comic is meant to be the bounty hunter on Ord Mantell that Han mentions to Princess Leia in The Empire Strikes Back. Marvel added this sequence to help the comic flow into the movie adaptation by showing the bounty hunter Han mentions and to explain why Han is with the rebels at Echo Base. As we will learn, Archie Goodwin writes a more elaborate story about the infamous bounty hunter in the newspaper strip a few years later. This new story works because the planet in the Marvel story isn't named, so the bounty hunter is retconned into being just one of several seeking the payout. The Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell from Classic Star Wars number 1 and 2. In Classic Star Wars number 1, Han Solo and Chewbacca rescue Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia from Imperials on a jungle planet. As they escape the planet's atmosphere, they are pursued by TIE fighters and a Star Destroyer. Han and Chewie evade the tractor beam from the destroyer, but the maneuver damages the Falcon. Han decides to repair the Falcon at Ord Mantell, but our heroes soon learn there is an Imperial fleet performing military maneuvers there. While Han registers with the local authorities, a bounty hunter named Score and his sidekick Gribbet recognize him from warrants. They follow our heroes outside and Score asks Gribbet to stake out the group. Score knows a direct confrontation with Han or Chewbacca is unadvisable, so he is waiting for an opportunity to strike through Han's traveling companions. Later that night, Han tries seducing Leia, but she decides to go for a walk so he can concentrate on repairing the Falcon. Gribbet notifies Score, who quickly arrives and incapacitates Leia. Luke goes searching for Leia and spots Score standing over her motionless body. Luke pulls out his lightsaber, but Gribbet stun blasts him from behind. Later, Han finds Luke's lightsaber and a hollow message left by Score. He tells Han his friends are safe, but he must surrender himself to Score to secure their release. Score chose 10 Mile Plateau for the exchange site. There, Luke and Leia are standing on a long plank over the edge of the plateau and Han arrives in a skyhopper. Score has Gribbet check on the location of the Falcon, which is still at the landing field with its engines warming. Han flies to the end of the plank and exits the skyhopper. Just then, Gribbet tells Score another craft has appeared on the scanner and Han jumps off the plank, pulling Luke and Leia with him. The other ship flies over the trio and they are caught in its tractor beam. Safe aboard the hovercraft piloted by Chewbacca, they race back to the Millennium Falcon knowing that Score is coming in his spaceship. Han takes the Falcon through a canyon, but is surprised to see that Score has tracked them. Han tries to evade Score on the surface of the Ord Mantell moons, but is unsuccessful. Luke senses Score is using his lightsaber to track them. Han sets the Falcon down on one of the moons, while Score waits them out. After some time, Gribbett picks up the movement of the tracker again on the ship's scanners, but they soon learn the tracker had been transferred to an escape pod which the Falcon jettisoned into the path of an Imperial Star Destroyer. The Imperial fleet had picked up the unusual activity by the two ships and came to investigate. Score's ship is caught in a tractor beam and brought aboard a Star Destroyer. Detained aboard the larger craft, Score tells the Admiral he is a licensed bounty hunter, but the Admiral is not buying it. The Admiral accuses Score of creating a diversion so the Falcon could escape and sentences him to the spice mines of Kessel. It isn't in the comic, but I like to think that the Imperial bigotry against cyborgs that was established in the Marvel run had something to do with the Admiral's harsh treatment. The bounty hunter Score and Ord Mantell return in the newspaper strip Showdown, presented in classic Star Wars number 20. In the story, Raskar, a retired pirate that had past dealings with Han, is preparing to depart the Hoth system after having collected a cargo hold full of Lumiya spice from the frozen planet. Earlier, Raskar had tracked the Millennium Falcon to the system and notified Jabba the Hutt that Han was there. Han and Luke trick Raskar into thinking a cavern full of Lumiya spice is Han's secret stash and agreed to share it with him. Score is with a group of bounty hunters that include Dengar and Boss that capture Raskar's spacecraft before it leaves. Jabba tipped Fett off about the location of Han, and Fett hired the other bounty hunters to capture the Corellian captain and bring him to Ord Mantell. Score is furious at Han for their earlier encounter, but Dengar convinces him not to kill him. Meanwhile, on Ord Mantell, Boba Fett is meeting with Darth Vader. He tells him that he can deliver Luke Skywalker to him. Darth Vader tells Fett they will meet again when his enterprise bears fruit. When Raskar's ship arrives on Ord Mantell, the bounty hunters depart, taking their ship and the Millennium Falcon to the planet's surface. They leave Raskar and his crew locked in their cargo hold. They take Han, Luke, and Chewbacca to an abandoned factory to wait for Boba Fett. There, Score arranges for the trio to escape when he allows Luke to take his lightsaber while he is violently punching Han. As the three escape, Boba Fett is approaching Enslaved One and spots them leaving through the rear of the moisture plant. After he lands, he orders the other bounty hunters to follow him as he pursues our heroes. The trio circle back to the plant and prepare to board the Falcon when Score arrives. Score is about to kill Han, but Luke uses the Force to throw off his aim. Han rushes Score, and in the melee, Score is shot and killed. Just then, they spot Boba Fett and the other hunters closing in on them. Suddenly, the factory explodes when Raskar's ship fires on it. They are able to board the Falcon and leave the planet before Boba Fett and his men can recover from the explosion. The newspaper strip containing the bounty hunter of Ord Mantell was published from February 9th through April 19th, 1981. This is the first Archie Goodwin and Al Williamson story arc on the strip, and most Star Wars fans consider it the definitive story about the bounty hunter of Ord Mantell. The follow-up story arc, Showdown, was published from December 26, 1983 through February 5, 1984. I lean towards this story being the incident Han mentions because it occurs just prior to the second movie and would have been fresh in Han's mind. As is typical in the expanded universe, Han runs into another bounty hunter on Ord Mantell, this time from Buena Vista Records. Rebel Mission to Ord Mantell from Buena Vista Records. When the story begins, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo are on an unrelated mission to trick the Imperials into thinking the Rebel Alliance is searching for another jungle planet for their base while the Rebels finish setting up Echo Base on Hoth. On the mission, Luke and Han time a flyby of a nearby jungle planet in X-Wing fighters with the appearance of an Imperial patrol to give the impression they are scouting the planet. Han and Luke return from this mission to Hoth and receive their next assignment. They are to accompany Princess Leia to Ord Mantell to intercept a credit shipment from an interstellar trading company Leia's family used to own. The rebels want the credits to pay for supplies needed on Hoth. The plan is for Leia, Han, and R2-D2 to divert the cargo container containing the shipment to another cargo carrier piloted by Luke Skywalker and C-3PO. Chewbacca will be aboard the Millennium Falcon on standby, ready to pick up our heroes. Han expresses apprehension when Leia mentions the rebel operative working inside the organization is a Nalrithian. Nalrithians are insect-like aliens who share a mental link with their egg mates. Han has a deep distrust of the species for some unknown reason. Before they leave on the mission, Leia also informs Han that Jabba has upped the bounty on him. Han says that Jabba doesn't want to be paid anymore, he just wants revenge. On Ord Mantell, Leia, Han, and R2-D2 meet with their Nalrithian contact, except we soon learn it is not the rebel Fadris, but his eggmate Cypher, who has sided with the Empire. After R2-D2 is hooked up with the company's central computer and the cargo container is diverted to another ship, Cypher learns this is Princess Leia when Han slips up and the true reason for them being there. After uncovering the plan, Cypher reveals himself to be a bounty hunter who learns about the mission from his brother Fadris, who he killed. He plans to take Han to Jabba for the reward and to turn Leia over to the Empire. Han is ordered to hand over his comlink and remove his blaster belt, but he uses the belt to disarm Cypher. A scuffle breaks out between the two, and Han emerges victorious, but the comlink is broken. Unfortunately, the cargo ship that Luke is stealing is still shackled to the dock, so our heroes race to the Falcon to try and save Luke. Luke has a run-in with a suspicious dock supervisor, but C-3PO is able to convince the supervisor everything is okay, or so he thinks. Soon, Imperial stormtroopers are approaching the cargo ship, and Luke is forced to cut the shackles with his lightsaber while C-3PO pilots the craft. Luke is hanging onto the landing skid when he contacts Han and tells him to be ready for a flying catch. Before Luke can finish the communication, Ord Mantell Control jams the transmission. Control contacts the Falcon directly, and Leia helps distract them, while Han and Chewie position the Falcon to catch the incoming cargo carrier flown by C-3PO. The cargo ship makes it to the Falcon just as an Imperial troop carrier takes up the pursuit. Han and Chewie are able to pilot the Falcon away, successfully completing the mission. Rebel Mission to Ord Mantell is a book and record set from Buena Vista Records released in 1983. The story is written by Brian Daley, who also wrote the underappreciated original Han Solo trilogy, which sees Han and Chewbacca operating in the corporate sector. Brian Daley also wrote the excellent Star Wars radio dramas. Of course, Han again has a run-in with a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell, this time from West End Games, a publisher that made extensive contributions to the expanded universe. Scoundrel's Luck from West End Games. Scoundrel's Luck is a solo adventure published by West End Games in 1990. It is written by Troy Denning, who would go on to write 12 novels from Del Rey set in the expanded universe. In the story, you choose the actions Han takes and read the accompanying text until a conclusion to the tale is reached. The story begins with Han Solo gambling at the 15 Moon Casino on Ord Mantell. Princess Leia remained behind on the Millennium Falcon. Han is using the reward money he received from rescuing Leia in the hopes of building enough credit to pay back Jabba. During one bet, he is distracted by a droid that delivers a message from Alfreda Goot. She wants to race Han to the Dockside Cafe at Mos Eisley. The droid presents the stakes to Han when it drops Leia's signet on the ground. Goot has kidnapped Princess Leia, and Han is forced to race to save her. Alfreda Goot is a Togarian bounty hunter out to make a name for herself. In the end, Han does make the trip to Tatooine and confronts Goot in the cafe. Along the way, he becomes entangled with Imperials intent on recovering Darth Vader after the Battle of Yavin. At Mos Eisley, Han is forced to shoot Goot in the chest, killing her and rescuing Leia. I've always been a fan of the Pick Your Path adventure books, and Scoundrel's Luck does not disappoint. West End Games is best known for publishing the first Star Wars role-playing game in 1987. They are also responsible for fleshing out many obscure characters and species from the original trilogy. By the time the expanded universe explodes in 1991 with the publication of the Thrawn trilogy from Bantam Books and Dark Empire by Dark Horse Comics, many writers would reference the material published by West End Games for their stories. Despite West End Games' enormous contributions to the expanded universe, Scoundrel's Luck is not considered the definitive story about the bounty hunter on Ord Mantell. While the story starts on the infamous planet, Han doesn't really confront Alfreda Goot until he reaches Tatooine, so she never really feels like the bounty hunter Han was referring to. Additionally, the story takes place soon after the Battle of Yavin. Score's appearance in the two newspaper story arcs, The Bounty Hunter of Ord Mantell and Showdown, establish him as a ruthless bounty hunter and worthy opponent to Han. The other three bounty hunters are interesting, but do not have the personal motives that Score did after his initial encounter with our rogue Corellian. Archie Goodwin delivers the story I think about when this incident is mentioned. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, click the like button, and if you would like to see more videos like it, please subscribe to the channel.